gentlemen, your attention, please.
Hello, hello. It's Marlon Weems, and I am here with my good friend Dana DuBois of
Hi,
the.
Marlon.
How are you, Dana? Happy
Hi.
St. Patrick's Day, huh?
Happy St. Patrick's Day. We are looking
I know
very luck
we
of the
came
Irish.
prepared, didn't we?
I was not getting pinched today, so
Oh, you know what? If I had thought about that, maybe I'd have worn something different. I don't mind. I mean, you know,
right.
I'm
Isn't
I'm
that
in a
what happens?
place
You're
where
supposed to pinch
there's kind of
people.
only one person that really has pension permission, I guess. Is that
Yes,
right?
consent.
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 That's the word I'm looking for. So, look, let me finish with my intro. So, Dana is the co host of the Daily Whatever Show, but she is here in her capacity as a memoirist. I have been practicing saying that word.
It's a funny
Anyway,
word.
yeah, but you said something sort of interesting, and I thought it was a good sort of a lead in for the title of this episode, Memoir as Resistance. And
Yes.
why don't you just tell us a little bit about what you're up to and what the memoir is about and so on.
Sure, I would love to. First of all, hi everyone. And Marlon, thank you. I've been so looking forward to this. I think this is the first time it's just us chatting.
That's right. Yeah, I've
Because
done
usually
one. I've done
Lawrence
one
is here.
with Lawrence. Yeah, but not
I'm
with
teasing.
you. So
I
no,
don't
no,
know.
it's all good.
It is all good. So we met through the Daily Whatever Show, which
Right.
is the podcast that I run with Lawrence. And this is me as a storyteller. I'm like, how far back does my brain go? I will go from here. So um, actually, I'm going to start here with my sad little dog who has been
You've got to
programmed.
help her.
I do. Well, she's like, I know what you're doing
Oh.
right now, Mom. And I get one of these to stay quiet. I have trained
Okay.
her.
Hey, a little bribery never hurt anything.
Exactly what this is. I keep joking that I'm like, Nature Naws should sponsor my podcast.
Hey, don't joke. I mean, you never know.
But you never know. Uh, we certainly are happy customers over here. We both come from Medium, right, Marlon? That's
That's
where I was
right.
debating
Yeah.
how far back to go. And I wish
Yeah.
I really
I
need to
don't
go
think I
find,
ever saw you on Medium though.
and I don't think I ever saw you, but I wish I had. And I'm, we'll talk about Medium later in this podcast and their changes they've made to their Boost program. But I'm a Boost nominator over there. Like
Really?
yeah, I can't. I'm not
See,
great at
that's
getting.
kind of how I know Walter
Oh,
Ryan.
yes, that's how I know Walter Ryan too. So I started writing in earnest, writing memoir and personal essays almost 3 years ago now on Medium. Came to Substack last year when a lot of us did, when Medium changed their platform. A lot of folks left because it no longer made financial sense to be over there. And I came to Substack with Lawrence to write. We both did. I'm a memoirist. He's a speculative fiction writer. We founded Gen XE together and kind of on a whim. That was in like February. And then by late April, I was like, going live seems to be the thing to do. So the Daily Whatever Show was born. And it really became what we did most of the time. And it became very political. It was mostly supposed to be cultural and talking about our creative projects. But when the world is in a state of crisis like it's in now, it was hard to get back to talking about those things. And what I found is I did very little writing in 2025 because I was like, the world is on fire. It's a felt like navel gazing to care about personal essays and memoir. And so as I entered 2026, I'm not always like you have to have a New Year's resolution person, but I am a fan of a milestone and sort of stepping back and being like, okay, which way am I going and growing? And I was like, I got really angry. It happened on air actually with Lawrence. I got really angry of like, think of all the words, the writing, the art, the music that isn't being made because we're all either actively using those talents to fight this regime, or we're just we feel like stuck because it's so terrifying, all of the things that are happening in the world. And that was when this idea came about of art as an act of resistance, or at least as an act of audacity in
Yeah.
trying political times. And so that was my personal Substack had been just kind of languishing. Like I wasn't doing much with it. And I was like, where I really want to grow this year and what I want to contribute to the world is I want to make a home for my writing. Because at this point I had 3 years worth of work, and it's a lot of it's on Medium, but across about 20 different publications, and it's mostly behind a paywall. And then I've been published nationally in a few publications here and there. And there was some stuff on Substack, and even that was across publications. And I was like, no, I want to make a singular home for my writing. And I'm calling it I Write Out Loud, both because it's an act of audacity, because as I publish each story to I Write Out Loud, I read it out loud.
Okay.
I do the narration. You can
Right.
also listen to the AI one if you want, but I wanted the stories told in my voice. And in speaking them out loud, what I've come to find is like, I feel like I'm almost putting a spell out into the world if I can get woo.
Ooh.
Like it feels very powerful to revisit the words that I've written over the years, and also these new essays that I'm still publishing. And what I didn't realize when I first did it, but I've come to find in these, like, I think I'm in week 7 now, it's still pretty new, is that as I'm sharing stories from my archive and new ones, I'm finding that they are forming narrative arcs, right? They are pulling together these narratives. And so I'm finding that I did an 8-week series that I'm calling my reentry into dating after a long-term relationship. I was publishing those stories in real time as they happened,
Mm-hmm.
but I came to find, oh, they actually formed a 6-month arc. And now I'm in the midst of a 4 essay series about parenting teen daughters in the era of Epstein. It led with a news story last week, and then there are
I
3
saw
from that
I
month.
saw the title of that story. The
Yeah,
one
that's
that, yeah.
and so that's what I have been doing. And that's why when you were like, will you come on my show? I'm like, can we pause and talk about like writing, but writing is this audacious act because for me at least, memoir and personal essays are not navel gazing. They're not like one time my grandmother did this thing and it was sad. They're bigger cultural conversations that I feel like I'm a dot connector. I recognize patterns, and in writing these essays, they are asking cultural questions, especially when we look over the 3-year span, because that's the span of thinking Trump was gone into
Mm,
realizing he was coming back, and now living in this new reality, which is like some of the stories from 2 or 3 years ago, they kind of make my heart ache as I look back at them, because there was a presumption of safety and of having gone through something horrific politically that was over, that
yeah.
is obviously now not over.
So just to, I guess, rub salt in the proverbial wound. I heard this morning. I was driving and I heard on the radio. I guess there's some poll that has come out,
Oh no.
and it's asking people who voted for Trump if they could do it like right now. If the election were right now, how would they vote?
Yeah.
And Kamala wins by like 8 points. So darn those people.
Oh my God.
Why
Right.
couldn't they have just seen it, But anyway,
I
I don't
cannot
really,
fathom how they didn't see what was coming.
they saw it. They just didn't care.
They didn't
They
care.
didn't care. They thought it was just going to be, women and brown folks and, black folks too, if they got lucky. So they,
Right.
there's no way that they could not know, because I know I told a bunch of them. But anyway, I don't want to really sort of veer off into that, because, I want to talk about. So is the memoir, is it 100% going to be on, just on Substack? Is that because a lot of people do their memoir on, I've been working on one for, well, I'm giving George R. Martin a run for his money in the late in the late book department, because I started this damn project probably, I don't know, 4 years ago. But it's like you said, though,
Yes.
I've got this newsletter, and you keep that, you got to keep that going. And then they allowed me to get on, live stream. And like you say, I enjoy doing this, but at the same time, there's just 24 hours in the day, right? And there's only so much you can do. And one of the things that I'm, like you said, not a resolution, but just definitely a goal, is to just finish the damn thing this year.
So you're writing a book.
I'm writing a book. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Well, thank you. It's, you think your story is the most interesting one.
Right.
So, I started.
You have fascinating stories.
You
do.
All you got to do is live long enough. My grandmother used to tell me that, and I would laugh at her. And now I'm like, okay, I get it. But so, I've got this weird career that is almost, it's 30 years in finance, and almost down the middle, half in the deep South, half actually on Wall Street. It's not exact, but it's pretty close. And so my thought is that it might end up being 2 books, like one about each half, right?
Interesting.
And so what I'm doing now is I'm actually on the back end of telling the Little Rock story and how I came to end up in New York, which was just totally, who would have guessed, right? And so, yeah, I don't know, 55,000 words into a book, and I just need to finish it. And I know
That's amazing.
Well, I know how it ends, but I just can't seem to find the time to just go ahead. And it's going to be one of those things, you've heard my sob story about breaking my leg, like during the holidays. And so I'm still kind of dealing with that. And in my head, I'm like, once it's all fixed and the doctors, I can get off pain meds and all that stuff.
Yes.
I'm just going to go. There's a little smoothie place that we love that's in the neighborhood, and I'm just going to go sit in there all day and just finish it. I got a laptop now. I got no excuse. But imagine, I've written 55,000 words on my phone.
That's amazing. And
I didn't know it was supposed to be hard. You know how it is when you don't know.
I do. And I kind of want to nerd out with you about this. When you were talking about being 2 books, I'm like, maybe it will be 2 books. It depends what the story is, because I feel like it's rare that the right way to write a memoir is just linear, right? Or just to tell a story, even just in one essay. I rarely am just like, this happened, then this, then this, then this. Never. It's always, and I feel like the tension in your book is probably this duality of your life, but I don't, I don't know.
I can tell you so there, it is linear, but not totally, because, I tell like the story, my career story, and how, how the hell does a guy with no college dropout end up, where I ended up. But I don't know, I guess every couple of chapters I go back and I talk about my, growing up and my relationship, especially, with both of my parents. But, my mother, and they're both gone now, but my mother was, if she were alive now, she'd probably have a Substack. She'd probably have a newsletter, because she was just like always. She built like a little catering business, and then she talked one of the local clothiers into sponsoring her, and she started doing fashion shows. And this is in the 80s, and so it's crazy. But on the other hand, my relationship with my dad was like really not that. It was on and off, right? And usually the on part was when he thought he could get something from me. So and so anyway, all that to say, it's not totally linear. It's I guess if you're watching a TV show, it's one of those where every once in a while there's a flashback,
Right.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's totally new for me. It's not the way that I normally, you've seen my stuff. It's pretty, I don't know, kind of nerdy, I guess.
Right. I think of you as more of a journalistic, like informational,
Hmm.
expository writer, and this sounds like true memoir. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you're
It's for
versatile.
real. Yeah. Well,
It is
you
for
know.
real. I I have written, I wonder how many, if I took all my essays and put them into, like, I've had people be like, you should publish some of these as books on themes, like these arcs
I've
that I'm
heard that
working
someone
through,
said that to me too. Like
right?
maybe
And I'm like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Oh no, I mean, maybe, because I don't always write about finance. Every once in a while, I'll write about something, oh, childhood stuff, growing up
Yeah,
under Jim Crow or whatever it might be. And
yeah.
um, I mean, if I had, the motivation, I guess I could just make like an ebook. That's probably a good idea. Maybe something to give to, paid
Subscribers.
subscribers or something. I don't know.
I have, I my AI bot has suggested that I do that on Ko-fi.
Hmm.
Like if somebody signs up for this, you should make a little Canva ebook. And I'm like, if I'm gonna write a book, I want to write a book.
A
And
book book.
I actually do have a book that I may be co-authoring.
Oh, really? Tell me about it. Can you talk about it?
I can. So these last 3 years have been me truly like diving into memoir and personal essay writing. But
Hmm.
before that, back in the early 2000s, I founded a music website with my friend Liz, one of my best friends. And for many years, we ran this site, we threw events, we essentially grew a music community. Wait, I can't say we grew it, that's not fair, but we championed a music community that blossomed alongside of us.
So was
And
this on Substack or what, on
no,
Medium or?
this so here's what's really interesting about it, Marlon, and what the book will be about. Don't tell anybody, you guys,
Okay.
because I don't want anyone stealing my idea. Though I don't think anyone could write this but us. So this was 2002 to 2007 were our peak years, and that's where the book will focus. And the book will both focus on the local bands that were up and coming, many of whom no one knows still, but some of whom really made it, like Death Cab for Cutie and the
Oh yeah.
Decemberists. Like these are bands, Fleet Foxes. These are bands that came out of that, the Head and the Heart. They came out of that era, right?
Hmm.
Um, but so much of that music never made it out of Seattle. And what's really interesting is when you asked, oh, did you do it on Substack? I hand coded the HTML to build the site, Marlon, because it was
Whoa.
2002.
Oh,
There
okay.
were
Well, you
no,
had no choice. Yeah.
there, not only was there no Substack and no Medium, there were no real blogs yet, and there was no social media. And so Liz and I
Oh,
grew
the
a
good
very
times.
real, we were called Three Imaginary Girls, a nod to an homage to the Cure's Three Imaginary Boys. But it was also that we were your imaginary friends going to the shows and telling you about them.
Mm,
And we created something very real that we had no idea was right on the cusp of the whole world changing,
mm. And
right?
this was, I'm sorry, what year was this?
2002 to 2007. So the book ends
Okay.
when my first daughter is born at the start of 2008, when our favorite rock venue where the idea was born closes, and with the birth of the iPhone. They all happened
Mm.
at the same time.
And
And
the financial
and
crisis.
and the financial crisis and Seattle getting so much more expensive that we can't really support artists and musicians here easily anymore. And
Man.
this is what's going to be the complicated part of the book is how to tell the story of who we were and what happened and talk about the music and the excitement and what it was to be women in a male dominated field where there were no other voices but like the three real publications and we were imaginary,
Hmm.
but we were also just doing this out of love and we didn't have a business plan, and our lack of, like, everything grew up around us including all of the opportunities that came to us, and it kind of sunk us because we didn't have the tools to make it, to do it properly, so it all just sort of stopped.
Yeah.
But also, like, we were influencers before that was a thing. Like we were literally voted most influential in Seattle music in 2004. Like we were
Get
a
out.
2-page spread in Seattle Weekly magazine.
Wow.
And it's so hard to find anything from that era because we built this amazing social community before there was social media. We were three imaginary girls, but it was kind of the last era of being real
Mm.
because we were
I'll
taking
bet it
notes
was
on.
a whole lot nicer community, huh?
Oh, it was such a wonderful community. And yes,
Well, no
Amanda, it's
bots,
definitely a
no,
Cure reference.
no bots, no,
Yeah, right. You weren't fighting spammers from Russia coming in and being like, well, you suck, you're ugly, you're uneffable.
oh, good times.
Yes, it was a good time. So that's a sneak preview. Like Liz came over, I don't know, a couple months ago and was like, Dana, I have to tell you something. And I was like, oh, she's like, we need to write a book. And I was like, oh my God, we do need to write a book. Like one of the greatest, I mean, Lawrence is also my creative partner, but Liz is unquestionably like my creative partner. And we don't see each other that much because life got bigger, right? We have mortgages, we have
Oh,
children, we
yeah.
have all the things. But I was like, we need to make space to do this. So we're hiring someone to help us pull together a proposal to really try to do this. So you're hearing it first now. I wasn't
I
planning
know,
to talk
right?
about
Breaking
this.
news.
It is breaking news, but it's going to be a really big challenge. As someone writing a memoir, I think you'll understand this, and probably a lot of other folks in the chat. And Amanda saying the end of real is such a great title. It might be the title. We don't have a working title yet, but I do love the
I
play
like
off
that.
of imaginary girls and then creating something really real that ended like that. It wasn't just that what we did ended, it was the whole era. Everything changed. So, but trying to write memoir where it's two people writing, first of all. So I've never really done that. And is it like, are we writing as a royal we, or am I taking the pen and then Liz is taking the pen? And
I
are
was
we
just going to
writing?
ask, is it like you write a chapter,
We
then
have
she
to
writes
figure
one,
this
or?
all out. It's still all in the early stages. But there's Liz and Dana from 2005 who want to put you immediately in a scene and where we are so that you can feel it because it's live music and it's events and it's like rock and roll, blurry fun, right? But also we're now narrating it from 2026. So there's sort of four voices plus the
Okay.
fifth voice, which is the editorial we talking. So what I suspect will happen is that we will pass the pen but we're going to have to make it clear of like, I will probably take the chapter about X and you will probably take the chapter about Y, but then there will be, I think it's going to look like a zine because it should, because of what the subject matter is. And so there will be like sidebars of like, as we're writing from maybe the perspective of 2005, there will be a sidebar here of like, in 2005, the average apartment in Seattle costs X.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like, hey, this is who we were listening to. Like, here's the soundtrack. And I feel like there's so much ability to be like, click to Spotify, go to Spotify, or I hate Spotify, but this
I know, yeah,
source
but I know what you mean,
to
though.
listen to
That would
these
be like an
bands.
interactive kind of thing.
Ideally, like, let's put out a record of the music from this era and have a record release alongside the book release and a show, because of course we would throw a show. We always did. So, I feel like I have gone on to become a memoirist. Liz married one of the rock stars from the era. They're still together
Oh,
from her favorite bands, and they
wow.
host a radio show on a little indie radio station here, and it's on SoundCloud. And it's about indie pop songs it's called Pop Songs Your New Boyfriend's Too Stupid to Know About, which is the name of her husband's band's one of their songs. But that's the whole idea, is it's like the bands who have fewer than 300 listens on their YouTube reel, but you really need to hear them.
Yeah.
So she is still in the space of musical exploration and indie pop. So I feel like we're the right people to take this on, right? So I don't
Oh,
know how or
cool.
when, Marlon. I don't know when and how we're going to pull this off, but we
Hey,
have to.
you get no no
I need to
criticism
read,
from me.
right? I need to read your memoir.
I
You need
have,
to write.
well, the way I'm writing it is you use the word scenes. I mean, that's every chapter is kind of like a scene of
Yeah.
of something that, like, um, there was and a lot of stories. In fact, when the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 chapters, I would, finish a chapter and I let I distribute it, to my two, kids that are living with us. And at the time, neither one of them was, I mean, now it's one's almost, well, one's out of college. The other one is
Oh, congrats.
about halfway through, right?
Yeah.
So I would, just give them a copy of the chapter and just let them read it and see and it occurred to me early that, okay, wait a minute, I wrote how, like shit I was actually doing.
Yeah.
Do I want my kids to know? I mean, so yeah, they've got blackmail material, but
Right?
yeah, because I mean, I just remember because this was the 80s, okay, and you think you can live forever, so you're doing all kind of shit that you wouldn't
Yeah.
do norm now,
No.
but I'm keeping it real, and so I talk about just wild stuff, and my kids would just be like reading it, going, "Dad,
I do
Dad,"
wonder.
looking at me like, and so after, yeah, the third chapter, I had pretty much lost the authority to parent my children.
Oh my gosh, what's like the third wildest thing that you did?
Oh, the
I don't know
third
if I could
wildest.
handle. I don't know if I could handle the
Yeah.
wildest. So
So, 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 there was, I started off at a firm that was a startup, which
okay.
there were a ton of them. And at that time, I remember reading at one point that like 1 out of 5 employable males was in the bond business. I mean, like
Oh wow.
not insurance, not like jail bond or bail bonds, but like, mortgage-backed securities. That was the
Mm,
hot thing. If you've ever heard of Liar's Poker, that's
yes.
Michael Lewis. That was the era that I started in, and the firm I worked for only did that. And they literally were hiring. They'd go to a car dealership and look and see who the best salesman was, and
Oh
you
my.
you want to make 100 grand a month, come with me. That kind of thing.
100 grand a month? Where
There
people
were
like
there were guys that I knew in the 80s that were
100 grand a
making,
month?
that was a low number. Um,
Oh,
there was a
fucking hell. That just makes
no,
me angry.
I mean, I hate, and you know what? Most of them are either broke, dead, or in jail. I mean,
Fair.
honestly, but it was just at the beginning of the era when everything started getting financialized.
Yeah.
And so a lot of drugs. I'll just kind of a lot of drugs.
A
And
lot of drugs.
honestly, looking back, I'm just like, man, how did I escape? Like without really
Yeah.
just going over the edge. But okay, so here's a crazy story.
Okay.
Um, so they, I was a neophyte. I'm a new guy, and they would
Sure.
give you a mentor that, you watch what that guy does and do what he does.
Okay.
So that guy, we got to be friends, and he would pick me up after work, and we just go, it's before I was married. We'd all just go get in trouble. So one
Oh
day he
yeah.
takes me, he says, we need to go by so and so's house. And it was like a guy that was sort of our boss, kind of. And,
Sort of
and
our
well,
boss,
it
kinda.
wasn't official. It was just like, if Paul says do something, you do what
You
Paul
do it.
says, that kind of thing. And so
Fair.
he's got this
Okay.
really nice house. I did not mind going to Paul's house
Right.
because he had a very beautiful wife. I mean, I can't even, honestly, she would come to visit him at work, and everybody would just stop what they were doing. I think, and she was really exotic. I think maybe she was Brazilian or, something like
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, let's go by Paul's house, and we go by there. And what
Yeah.
I didn't realize was this was a drug deal. Okay. So
Okay.
we roll up in Paul's house, and his wife is there, and she's, oh, come on in, and kids are running around everywhere. And she's, oh,
No.
Paul's in the kitchen or in the dining room. And we go in the dining room, and
Oh no.
there's the guy that's, kind of my boss, and he's sitting at the dining room table, and he's got a shoebox, and
No,
there's this big, gigantic white brick of cocaine in the
no,
shoebox.
no, no.
And next to the shoebox
Run,
is
Marlon,
a
run.
357 Magnum. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? I, I don't want to do this anymore, you know? So yeah,
I
you
mean,
know,
race had to be part of that too, where you're like,
I,
the cops show up.
well,
I'm in
yeah, I
trouble.
guess I'm the guy who sold him, forced him to take these. Yeah, but it was,
Oh,
and you know, needless to say, I just never looked at him the same way again at work because I'm like, this
oh my
dude's a
God.
freaking criminal. But those were just, it was just almost normal. It was like there
Oh
was
my God.
the head of sales had an office, and he had, you've seen those offices and they have those little mini blinds, and
Yeah.
he'd roll in the morning with the
He
same
wrote
clothes that
in.
he had on the night before, or you know,
Oh
the day
boy.
before, and he kept, like, you know, like shirts from the cleaners and a
Yeah.
suit in his office. He'd go in there and change, he'd close the blinds, and you'd hear him in there, and so, and he'd come out, he's a new man, you know. So yeah, you know, the securities business in the 80s,
Oh my
right?
God.
I
I can,
just don't know how I made it.
I'm
But
happy
yeah,
you did, but my
so
God,
I am too, believe me. Huh?
and
But
you're letting your children read, your adult children
well,
now.
you know, I yeah.
They can know the
So
real
yeah,
you.
that was, I mean, but it was, you know, it was just Miami Vice, but in Little Rock.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, think about
Um,
this. People just had way too much money.
they did.
There were guys, I started to say this. There was a firm that was just down the street from us, and um, they had a situation where if you like did 100,000 in commissions in a month, then you could just go to the jewelry store and get a Rolex just on the firm, you know, pick one out, whatever. And if
Hmm.
you did 1 million in commissions in a month, and people did,
Oh my
oh,
God.
just go on down to the Porsche dealership and just get a car, and we got you. We, you know, and so you think about it,
I'm
these salesmen.
choking.
You, I'm sorry, you make $100,000, and they pay 50% commission back then.
Oh my
You know,
God.
that's 50 grand in a month. I mean, even after taxes, you know, you could probably pay your bills, right?
I'm thinking you could get by. You could
Yeah,
probably
I
eke
mean,
out a
it's
living.
in Little Rock. It's really hard to get by on that kind of money, but
I bet it is. And I feel like it's almost as good as like being a writer and podcaster on Substack. Almost. Almost as
yeah,
profitable.
yeah,
Oh my God.
almost. So yeah,
What
I got crazy stories,
that is a crazy story.
and that's
You
not even the
definitely
craziest one.
you definitely need to get this memoir
And
down.
it's one of those things that I can really name names because most of the people are all, you know, they're dead, so they can't sue
Right.
me.
Right. Their estates might come after you, but not if they're broke. Only if they stayed rich. But they have lawyers to still come after you and protect their name after death. I'm guessing.
I,
Um, that is wild.
we'll
You
see.
definitely need to birth that. And it is a
I
different beast.
probably shouldn't have led with that story, but it was just the one that
I,
popped
I asked you. And
in
so
my
you have
head.
at least two that are crazier than that, because I said share your
Oh,
third most crazy.
honestly, yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, my stories aren't quite as crazy as that, but
Well, it's a
it's
different. You were in a different kind of world, though, a very positive
I
world.
guess it was certainly not a profitable world like the one you're talking about. Um, that is nuts, but I'm just in my head, I'm thinking about like, this is so delightful to like be talking about it's sort of our legacies, right?
Yeah.
Like you hit a certain age and I'm smack in it apparently where it's like um my tolerance for work that I don't want to be doing
Hmm.
is diminishing even as I can't really get, but my need to like do what's important and has meaning and sort of imparts lessons, I guess, at the risk of sounding too Pollyanna-ish. Like I feel like I have a lived experience now and an ability to connect dots that I'm like, I feel like this can connect with readers, excuse me, and in my own way can help move the world into a more positive direction. And yeah, kind of it does speak a bit to legacy and like what you want to be remembered for. My kids don't really read my work, and I'm grateful for that. But there are times like these essays I've been posting most recently where I'm writing about them that I'm like, huh, how are they going to feel about this when they read it when they're
Mm.
older? And I hope they read it and are like, our mom did some good thinking while she was parenting us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm much older than you. And so I definitely think about, um, when you're gone, is anybody going to remember you, or what did you do, or, all that stuff. And it's just, I mean, it's legacy, right? In my case, it's really gotten kind of interesting because being from Arkansas and, Sarah Huckabee Sanders is the governor now. And
Right.
it's just really, really sort of descended into,
Yeah.
just like country MAGA, right? And so this is actually something that I'm dealing with right now. They're erasing me in Arkansas. So I started the first Black-owned investment firm in the state's history, and I actually, in order to do that, I did, I guess, what you could call an acquisition. I
Okay.
bought a brokerage firm and then absorbed it, and just kind of renamed
Yeah.
it and all that. And there's like no record of it. And there's a, pardon me, there's the Mosaic Templars um, Heritage, Arkansas Heritage Museum, right?
Yeah.
And it's focused, the Mosaic Templars were like this Black organization. And, back in the like real Jim Crow era, that
Mhm.
was a gathering place for Black folks,
Yeah.
professionals, and, folks from out of state and all of this. And so now it has been absorbed into the,
Mm.
under the umbrella of the state of Arkansas, like tourism and all of that. And, and this is a crazy story. So last year it occurred to me, well, I was looking on their website and they had this timeline of all these, accomplishments of African Americans from Arkansas. And there's, right there where I thought I might show up, there's not anything there. And so
Oh.
I reached out to him and said, hey, I haven't lived in the state for, 20 years or so. And so you probably don't know about this. And then I just kind of described, my background. And I was one of the first African Americans in finance in Arkansas and so on. And the person that's in charge of that was really excited. And he immediately emails
Yeah.
me back and says, oh my God, I want to talk to you. Maybe we can do something, because it's so different than the other people that we feature. Maybe we can do like a program around it. And so anyway, we set up a call. The day of the call came, I didn't get a call. And so I reached out to
Oh.
the guy. But long story short, they ghosted me. And all of a sudden it went from we're really interested in featuring this to nobody would talk to me. And my suspicion is, somebody, I used to go to church with Sarah Huckabee Sanders
Oof.
when she was
Sorry.
like a kid. No one knew, it's one of those things. If you
Yeah.
could have done
Yeah.
something back then, would you have done it?
Oh my God.
I, this is crazy. I've written a story about it. I sang in a church choir that had a band, like the contemporary,
Oh yeah.
Christian music or whatever. And I wrote some about it. I'll post it. But the point is, the bass player was Mike Huckabee.
Oh no.
I'm not making this up. No, he was
Oh
the
my
governor, and he plays the bass, and he
God.
was good. And the
What? He was
reason that,
good, huh?
oh yeah. I mean, as good as was required anyway. I mean, it's not like he's one of the brothers Johnson or anything, but yeah, he could play. And I
Okay.
got pulled into it because I sang in high school, and
Yeah.
I visited this church. Shannon and I did, and so lo and behold, the head choir guy was a dude that sat next to me in high school, and he was like,
Oh.
you're coming in. You don't tell me you can't sing because I know better. And so
Oh
Yep.
my gosh.
Weird life.
That is a weird life. Jessica
Yeah.
in the comments is saying, Marlon, that's happening to in real time, being erased from history. Wow. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it is a very, because I'm trying to figure out just what do I do about that? Do I, I'm not going to like write a big essay about it because it doesn't, coming from me, it's kind of
Yeah.
self-serving sounding. But yeah, I mean, as a matter of fact, they there is a guy, a black guy who started, I think it's a credit union, maybe I don't know, less than 10 years ago.
Okay.
And they, I have seen articles actually featuring him as the person who started the first black-owned financial institution in Arkansas.
No.
I'm not
Oh
making
my
it up. No,
God.
it was in Black Enterprise magazine. That's what got my attention. I was like, well, maybe they just don't know. Well, they know. They just,
I know.
it's intentional, apparently.
Do you see my little dog is trying to dig into the sofa? I don't know if you can hear
Yeah,
that.
I
I
see.
don't know what she's looking for. She's definitely
She's
not
moved.
digging.
She's moved on. Your
Yeah.
couch is safe.
Yeah. What are you doing, little one? Yeah, I have this right behind me so that I can do this exactly while I'm live.
Hey, listen, you gotta take care of the pets.
You do. And I feel like all the podcasting that happens, these like lives that are very slice of life and real and unedited, it feels like working during COVID when suddenly like
Oh yeah,
people who were all buttoned up at work, they suddenly have, half naked kids running around in the background and you can hear their spouses yelling from the kitchen and the mess and the pets like and their hair's all grown out because none of us, were able to get haircuts and
I didn't have that problem.
right. Right. I kind of
I
loved
was
that
I was
era.
good.
Not the illness,
I know
not the
what you mean,
fear,
though. It
but the
really. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, just that everybody became really real, and all the men suddenly were very shaggy, and I thought they all looked better. Every dude got better looking because he.
I don't know if you remember this, but when you said that, I just had a flashback of a
Okay.
guy. It was like British television, and he was being interviewed, and his kid kept coming in.
Oh yeah, and he didn't have
It,
and his wife like didn't have pants on and like
yeah, right.
came in to grab
He
the
just
kid.
came and grabbed the kid. So yeah,
That guy was so famous for like
that,
5 minutes.
I know that there were some episodes for sure.
I
Yeah,
absolutely
it's
remember
hard
him.
to believe. Doesn't that seem like it was 20 years ago?
Kind of. My
It just
kids make
seems.
grounded, and I feel like we were just on the Daily Whatever show today. We had this wonderful guest, Christopher Pepper, and he wrote a book called "Talk to Your Boys." He
Mm,
teaches health in high school. He teaches like sex ed in
okay.
California, and so he's written this book about talking to how boys need to not fall off, and now is the time when we need to be engaging them. But we were talking about how kids aren't as social now because of phones and friendships and dating both. They're just not connecting, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, we didn't get into the COVID part of the conversation, but that's part of it. At least with when I watch my kids, they were in fifth and seventh
Definitely.
grade. Every kid had a COVID year, right? So for my kids, it was fifth and seventh
Hmm.
grades that they did at home. Like we did a very prolonged COVID in Washington State in general, and then I kept my kids out a bit longer because I didn't want us getting it. And so I joke with them. It was sort of the perfect time if you had to live through a pandemic. They were big enough that they could homeschool on their own because their dad and I were both working remotely,
Hmm.
and we couldn't sit next to them for class and help them. But they were young enough that they didn't. It wasn't like college prep years. They didn't miss
Hmm.
out on their homecomings or their proms. But if anything, there all these kids are going to have these gap years, right? Where someone will mention some historical thing or some math skill, and they're going to be like, "That was my COVID year. I don't remember anything.
I had no
I
idea what
didn't
you're
learn a
talking
damn
about.
thing." So,
Yeah.
but those kids, I mean, my kids are now a sophomore and senior in high school, so I feel like they're catching up, especially my eldest. She's always been pretty socially adjusted, but I can see in these kids that they are slower to milestones, slower to
Hmm.
date, and I feel like it's because they had this formative year gap.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, my daughter
Yeah.
was in high school,
So it
and
was
I
critical
just
years.
feel so bad for her because she
Yeah.
didn't. really date.
Yeah.
She didn't have a prom, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so when she finished, COVID, we had started coming out of it, but like you said, it was 2021. I really was not ready to just say, "Hey, go off to some out of state school." And so, with her, what we did was junior college for 2 years, and then and because the first year was all online anyway. I think she had one class that once a week she had to go, and
Hard to
and
justify the expense of a big
I,
fancy college when they're not
I
even
I
there.
guess, but no, the crazy part was because so many kids, at least in North Carolina, were just skipping college altogether, and
Mm.
the legislature was in a panic about it, and they just started throwing money at us. So
Ah,
so yeah, just to get kids, you don't have an excuse. All you got to do is fill this form out, and we'll cover you. So
oh my gosh.
her tuition was paid. I mean,
Ah,
she's an
so
art
nice.
student. There was like some money for that, um, and they even had a travel allowance. So she
Ooh,
got like $1,500 just, and for her, it actually was meaningful
yeah.
because her second year, we're on an island. So she was having to drive 20 some odd miles, and back every day. And I mean, we bought her a car with her scholarship money.
That's
It was
amazing.
it was a it was a transportation allowance, so we got her some transportation, and
That's fair. I mean, that's what you do, right? As
yeah,
someone facing down college costs and
I have
making some
no
hard
shame
decisions.
whatsoever about it.
No, I'm like, damn, I wish someone would give us some.
Hey, tell me about it. And I mean, we've just been tremendously fortunate with our kids because our son is he's in North Carolina State on a full scholarship.
It's
I
amazing.
mean, and you know what? This is crazy. So we had decided that he was going to do the junior college, and then
Yeah,
because he had no idea what he wanted to major in.
yeah.
He's the opposite of Hallie Claire. Benjamin is like math. He hates physics, but somehow he still makes B's in it. So
Yes.
um so one day I get this, because we applied for all the state schools, and I get
Yeah.
this a letter, a bunch of letters from North Carolina State, and I'm kind of going through them, throwing them in the trash. And there's this
Right.
one, and I'm like, wait a minute, this looks like it might be official or something. Let me see what it is. And it's a letter awarding him a full scholarship. So,
Oh my gosh. I'm
so I
glad you didn't throw
almost
that one
threw it in
away.
the trash. I really, and it was so much of a shock. I read it and I kept looking at it, and it was like my brain wasn't accepting that I was going to get something for like to pay for my kids' college. And I'm like, Shannon, could you read this? Because I don't think I'm reading it right. Yeah. I mean, it's made a you can imagine the difference for
Oh, I
him.
can. I
Yeah.
am making an expense spreadsheet right now for my daughter's
I mean,
top
North
choice school.
Carolina State, you're talking 25, 30 grand a year, easy. One, all in. And yay. So yeah, my kids are squared away, and
Good.
I'm sure they'll probably won't be speaking to me 2 or 3 years from now. They'll be
Oh,
off
so
on their own, and
they will still
I'm
speak
I'm
to you.
just kidding.
How could they
They're
not
they're
want to
not
speak to
they're
their
not
party
going
dad
anywhere.
with all the cocaine stories from the
I know, right?
80s?
It's, Dad, tell us another
Oh,
drug story.
right? Oh my gosh. That's
Yeah, and you
hilarious.
know what? After about chapter 3, I stopped printing off the chapters and just
I think that's probably smart.
probably
I
wise.
I think so. Folks in the
Yeah.
chat are talking about our daughter's artwork that you showed your daughter's
Oh
artwork on
yeah.
Nick's show today.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but I would love to. And I last night on a whim posted my daughter's current piece, which is about 80% done. She's making a Beowulf themed black and
Ooh,
white sketch for her
okay. I want to
beloved
see
language
that.
arts teacher. She goes to a very small school, and so she's had the same teacher 3 of her 4 years for language arts. And he has made a writer out of my child. And
Well,
I'm
that's
so happy
great.
about it. But this illustration is He's going to lose his mind when he sees it. It's so
Beowulf
good.
is one of my favorite stories. It's so
Beowulf
good. Is one of my favorite stories. I grew up and I was really into
Definitely.
mythology, really
Oh, I
big.
did not know
So,
that about
yeah,
you.
you know, crazy. I know.
I'll
Kid
see if
going
I
to a
can.
segregated school reading, Norse mythology. What's that all about?
Because why not read Norse
I don't
mythology
know. I
when you're
don't even,
segregated at
I'm
school?
not really sure how I got into it exactly, but that kind of segued into comic books and stuff because it's really mythology too, in a way. I don't know if
Yeah,
you've ever seen that movie Unbreakable.
I
It's
have not.
oh, it's really other than M. Night Shyamalan. Am I saying that right? Shyamalan.
I'm not
He's
sure.
Yeah, he's the guy. I See Dead People. The gosh, what's the name of that movie? Anyway,
Oh, The
uh, uh,
Sixth
The
Sense? Was
Sixth
that?
Sense. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
he's the guy behind and that and to me anyway, Unbreakable is the only other movie that he's made that's really really good. I won't spoil it for you, but I you should you
Please
should.
don't.
It's probably on Amazon Prime or something or one of them. You
Okay.
should go out of your way to watch it. It's interesting. It's not going to be what you think either.
All
And
right.
yeah, it's a good movie.
Good to know. While we're talking about things that we've birthed lately,
Mhm.
my memoir site, which is it okay if I put a link in the chat? I think I did earlier
Absolutely. Go
to
for it.
I'm gonna put this is just my like the homepage where you can
Yeah.
see all of the I read out loud. Oh, Lynette says, Dana, I'm late because I was listening to your latest story. Oh, Lynette, you're so sweet. I am going to put a link to this story. Um, this is so my stories on I Write Out Loud are both from the archive and new
Hmm.
work. And the one I posted today is from the archive. It's supporting this narrative arc that I'm doing around um, raising teen daughters in the Epstein era. And I'm
Mm,
using Epstein as just sort of shorthand for
sure.
all of the erosion
The
of
catch
women's
all for
rights that
Me
we're
Too
seeing.
and everything. Yeah.
And thanks, Robin, for calling my daughter talented. This essay, this is a really interesting one to reshare because it was on Medium. I posted it to Substack about a year, not quite a year ago, because I haven't been writing that long on Substack, but many months ago. And it was on the then Gen XE website, which is now just the Daily Whatever Show. It's not really showing articles anymore. So I'm moving all of my narrative writing to I Write Out Loud. And so in resharing it, I'm like, this was the most popular story I've ever written. I had people praising it, women who were like, I can still relate to it. I also went to the other side of Substack with the men who were
Mm.
like, who would want to fuck you anyway? You're ugly. Blah, 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 blah. I was accused of
No.
sexualizing my daughter. I was told I was
Oh boy.
ugly. I was told like I had lots of people popping off on me. And I'm really interested to see if it catches fire again from my as of yet small platform for memoir writing. It's
Hmm.
called Middle-Aged Men Keep Ogling My 16-Year-Old, and it's an
Whew.
intentionally complicated essay
Mm.
because it begins. This is about my now 18-year-old. She was 16 when this happened. We were at a solstice parade here in that happens in Seattle every year, the weekend of the solstice.
Oh.
And the parade is super fun, but it always starts off with the riding of the naked cyclists. People like get all dressed, like
Okay.
body painted up and
Okay.
in various states of undress. Some are completely naked, some have like bikinis on, but they're all like body painted and in
Yeah.
outfits, and they're riding their bikes up and down the parade route, and everybody cheers them on. And but when we went to this event, as we were like hustling, trying to meet our friends there, I clock this guy at the beginning who's looks like my peer. And I sort of walk through in the essay how I'm like, oh, there's a guy, he's kind of cute. I'm noticing him. He's noticing, he's looking at my 16-year-old, not me.
Wow.
And it all sort of passes in a micro flash. And then it's me examining what it's like to be passing the leering baton as my viability fades with age and my daughters too are coming up in age, and I start observing men responding to them.
Yeah.
And what's the proper, like I talk about the anger, like there's one part where I sort of want to rip this guy's face off of like, this is my child, and my wish to like protect her from all of this while knowing I can't.
Hmm.
And also the sense of like there's a sense of relief in watching the pressure, feeling the pressure coming off of me. And also there's grief in there, right? There is this sense of like, oh wow, like my looks are fading. That means like options are closing as they are opening for my daughter. So it's my favorite kind of essay where it's nuanced.
Mm-hmm.
And I also get into the way young women or girls and older girls and young women dress now, which from a very young age is hypersexualized. And I'm not blaming them. They're kids.
That's what's pushed, that it's pushed at them though, right?
It
I
is.
mean,
It is. And it's from, I mean, they were raised on like my daughters, they were coming of age during the whole like girl power, girls can be anything and do
yeah.
anything. They had all the t-shirts with slogans. But the shorts that Target was selling next to the t-shirts, you know, had a half an inch inseam from the time they were 5 years old up.
Wow.
And they, I call it WAP feminism in this story because my daughters love that song. They can sing every word.
Okay.
And my oldest was like 12 when it came out. There's only so much bucking of the culture one can do. Of course they know it, and they, you know, and also like the modern flavor of feminism is to be like, these are empowered women singing, you know, Cardi B and
Mm-hmm.
Megan Thee Stallion. And I'm like,
But when
I
you're
hear it, I get
12,
it, but right. And also even, you know, through the wisdom or whatever I have of the years, there's this sense of like, weird how we can do and be anything we want. And yet so often what these women are choosing is to be exactly what men want them to be, which is hypersexualized. And how to parent through that
mm-hmm.
of like, you can be and do anything you want to be. You should be empowered to dress the way you want to dress, but also not for 8th grade, kid. You're not walking into 8th grade wearing a tube sock for a shirt. You're just not. I'm not going to allow that. At one point, my daughter in the story calls me the patriarchy. And I
Oh,
laugh, and I'm
boy.
like, I'm the matriarchy. Go put on a different shirt. And so
Oh boy.
the accusations that I got the first time around were really interesting because people would glom onto a part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, you're sexualizing your daughters, or you're just bitter and angry that men aren't looking at you anymore. And I'm like, you're reading this without nuance.
Yeah.
And what's so interesting now that I may take another, like I may have another essay that's like a follow on to this of who owns the shops that are being marketed to the 8-year-olds and up that are sexualizing them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I'm forgetting his name now. The head of, hold on, was the head of Victoria's Secret, who's in the Epstein files
Oh
everywhere.
yeah.
Lev, not head of Secret Epstein. That should get his name. His name is Les Wexner.
Wexner.
And like my
Oh no.
daughters have been pining for Victoria's Secret stuff since they were literally 7 or 8 years old. That's who they're marketing
Wow.
to now with
Well, now
pink.
we know now.
They are
You know.
trying, right? They're pedophiles. Their sense of beauty and what women should look like is girls.
Yeah.
And so when you layer that into this question of how to parent teen daughters through beauty, aging, sexuality,
Mm-hmm.
empowerment, and also wanting to be protective of them, it really is a very strange soup.
You know, it's really kind of an interesting thing to think about. I mean, so
Yeah.
on the flip side, I am the oldest of 4 boys.
Oh,
Do I need to go on?
yeah. That paints a
the
picture for
the
sure.
oldest of 4 boys, and we came, I came of age, I guess you would say, in the, I graduated high school in the mid 70s. So
Yeah.
there was everything that you've just talked about, none of that.
Right.
I mean, some of the behavior that just as a teenage boy, some
Yeah.
of the that I would engage in regularly as it relates to girls.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing illegal or violent in that way, but just general
Yeah.
un uninvited touching and just silly stuff that if I saw some boy, you know rolling up on my daughter like that, well, you know,
Right.
I'd be in jail. But it was just
Right.
like, if I can, it was almost as though we were raised to behave that way.
Oh,
You
for
know,
sure.
we were
We
raised to
didn't even
like,
have the
you
language
go out
around
there
it.
and get those girls, you know, almost like, you
Yeah,
know, release the Kraken and just, and
that was,
it was
and
expected almost that you, in
it is
fact,
hard to explain to the
it,
kids these days of how
let me
different
tell
the
you,
norms were.
there was, my dad had this office, and, you know, we didn't, when he was in there doing what, you know, his work, you just didn't even
Yeah.
go in there. You know, just didn't think about going in there.
Yep.
And one
My dad
day
had one too.
he called me. My youngest brother was too young to be in this particular meeting, but our dad actually did this, and he's my stepfather, or was, and
Okay.
which actually plays into the memoir, that whole dynamic. But anyway, we're like trying to figure out what we've done, because he was really like serious, and I don't know what made him think he needed to have this conversation with us.
Oh no.
He says, um, you know, it's a sex conversation. He says,
Sure.
you know, it's the greatest urge, and he's getting all philosophical
Oh,
about sex, and we're sitting there looking at each other going, "Now, where the fuck is this going?" Yeah. And he says, you know, I understand you know, it's an overwhelming urge, but the day that one of you come into my house and announce your homosexuality, I
yeah.
will kill you.
Oh
And we
Jesus.
were just like, "Oh, okay, Dad." Yeah,
Oh my
thanks.
God.
Oh yeah, it was like the most,
Wow.
just out of, and I don't know what caused him to feel like he needed to just give us that, you
Right.
know, scare the shit out of us. I mean,
I hope
and
that,
you
were any
know,
of your brothers gay?
no, that's, well, if they were, I
They were. It
think
scared
he
the shit out of
scared it
them.
right
They're
out
like,
of him. I
oh,
mean, he threatened to kill us, you know, and he
Jesus,
wasn't
I'm sorry.
kidding. Oh, you know, we didn't even, it, we were just like, what the fuck's wrong with Dad? You know,
Oh my
where'd that
God.
come from? Yeah.
That
I mean, but
is
it was, you know,
wild.
we're talking about the 70s. So you didn't,
Yep.
I went to school with guys that were clearly gay, but they tried so hard not to, you know, not to show it.
I mean,
My,
hello, Lawrence.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I knew him back then, and he was not gay. He was not gay.
yeah. I
There was
mean,
only one gay kid in our high school of
and
2,500
that kid
kids.
probably took so much shit, you
He
know?
did, and he couldn't hide it. I mean, he was very
Yeah.
effeminate, and but I now know there were a lot more gay people than that because of the ones I still know from high school. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
right, yeah, yeah, that
Oh, it's so
checks.
funny. I mean, girls
All the
that, you
boys I had
know,
crushes on, gay,
girls
gay,
that
gay,
we
gay.
chased and look up now, and oh my goodness, they're married to another girl. What?
To
Oh,
a
that
woman.
explains. No wonder. I mean, not that, you know, but yeah. Anyway, it's just funny how all
Yeah,
this stuff evolves over time.
it
But
really is.
Dana,
Oh,
look
Marlon,
at
I
the
feel like
time.
I could talk to you all afternoon, or all
Well,
morning and all afternoon.
same here, same here. I just I have been wanting to, you know, after I talked to Lawrence one on one, I was like,
Yes.
uh-oh. I
Right.
really,
Got to be
no,
fair.
seriously, even if I hadn't, I just have been wanting to talk to you, because I watch you guys, and y'all seem to be having so much fun doing what you do. And then
Thank
when you
you.
told me you were doing the whole memoir thing, hey,
Yes.
we got something to talk about, and we don't have to talk about that other thing, you
Right.
know? So
The
this
whole
has been
politics
fun.
of it. This has
We
been
should
so
we
much
should
fun.
make a point to do this again soon.
Please do. Have your people contact my people.
I will. I almost said I'll have my girl. My girl,
Oh,
it's my wife. By the way, and I think I told you this, she listens in on, I think, pretty much all of my live streams, and you're her favorite. When I told her, I said, guess who I'm talking to
oh my
next week?
God.
And she was like, Yeah, she likes you guys. She likes your show.
Oh,
She likes
I would
you.
love to. Thank you. I would love to meet her one day if she ever
Well,
wants to
if
come
I
on with
can
you.
get her, she
Tell her
is
she's welcome.
we're dragging her across the finish line of starting her newsletter, which by
Oh
the
my gosh.
way, you said
Yay.
something about the solstice thing. You know, that's the name of our business, Solstice
Uh,
Botanicals, but
uh,
it's SOUL, a little bit of soul in there.
oh,
So yeah,
solstice. I love it.
yeah. Well,
Oh my. This has
Dana,
been so much fun. Hold on, I have to say, I'll just say it out loud. Love you too, Lynette and Jessica and everyone else weighing in and saying that. Thank you guys so much for being here. Um, I will be live talking about this story, Middle-Aged Men Keep Ogling My 16-Year-Old at 7 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. That's my usual
thought
I
you were
write
going to
out
say
loud.
tonight, and I was like,
Nope,
oh no, because
tomorrow.
tonight I am doing a live stream because
Oh,
I've been writing a lot about Sinners and talking about the movie Sinners
yes.
and totally forgot my brother has an exhibit. He's got a nonprofit called the Music Education Initiative, and they
Okay.
like work with a lot of, like old R&B and
Oh,
blues entertainers, and basically one of the things they do is, train people to do like the non-musical stuff, like
yes.
roadies and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And so tonight I am going to be talking to him
Oh, I
because,
love that.
well, he has an exhibit in Northwest Arkansas, and
Okay.
it's a juke joint. Yeah, and it's a
Cool.
really interesting. He's had it for a couple of years, and it's a replica of an actual juke joint that
Okay.
was, and it goes back to COVID. The way that he ended up with it is that it was going to be something in the Clinton Library, and then COVID came along, and the person that created it reached out to him because they were going to throw it away. And it's like, I mean, you can walk through and it's got all this kind of memorabilia of, things that are significant to like that whole blues history, like the
Yeah.
crossroads and all that stuff. So I'm
Okay.
kind of stoked to do a little live stream with
All right. What
I
time is
say
that? Folks in the
it's
chat are asking.
it's at 7 p.m.
Okay.
tonight.
So same
7
time.
p.m. tonight.
So listen to Marlon tonight at 7
And
and then
then yeah,
come me tomorrow night at
I
7.
know. How about that?
And then at 8 tomorrow night, I'm having my monthly Crone cocktail hour where it's the new moon and we're going to get our woo on. Me plus Karen Marie Shelton and Oceana Teffenhart. They're the woo ones. I just sort of guide the conversation and questions and learn from
Okay.
them.
All right.
So
Well, folks, I
got
hope
lots
you
coming on.
enjoyed it. Dana, thank you again for coming on. And
Thank you. Oh, and tomorrow on the Daily Whatever Show, Nabil Ayers, Roy Ayers' son, author
what?
of My Life in the Sunshine.
Oh, stop.
Do you
It's
know
going to be
Nabil
on your
Ayers?
show?
He's on our
I know
show tomorrow.
Roy Ayers for
Yeah,
sure.
it's his son. They never knew each other,
Wow.
but he wrote a beautiful memoir
Oh
about it.
man.
And
I'm
he's
gonna have to
someone I
check
know through
that out.
Seattle music for years. So
Oh
he's on
man.
Substack. And I was like, Nabil, you got to come on my show.
I
So tune in
love
tomorrow.
Roy Ayers so much. That Everybody Loves the Sunshine kind of hit when I was a freshman in college. And that
Yep.
was just, you could be walking through the dorm and you would just hear it playing, people with their doors open and all that
Hold
stuff.
on.
So.
Do you know his book? Oh, when I put in, I slightly got the title wrong and it pulled up. Isn't that the name of his book? Hold on, I might be saying it wrong. The book is called My Life in the Sunshine, Searching for My
Okay.
Father and Discovering My Family by
How
Nabil
about
Ayers.
that? All
Oh, he's
right.
great. So please tune in if you're a fan of Roy Ayers, especially.
Absolutely. I am one. In fact, my wife gave me, this is a long time ago, a cassette. Everybody Loves the Sunshine for, I don't know, some
Oh,
Father's
I
Day or
love
birthday
that.
or something.
There's the link to the book in the chat, and I will DM it to you
Perfect.
too, so you have it because
Okay.
it's a wonderful piece of memoir writing. And yeah, okay.
All right, folks. Well,
Thank you
you know
so
what
much,
you need to be
everybody.
doing. You need to be 7 o'clock tonight. Check me out. 7 o'clock tomorrow.
Yep.
Catch up with Dana.
Subscribe to that guy, Marlon.
Oh, subscribe to that gal. Dana,
Always a
love you.
pleasure.
Talk to you soon. Take
Talk to
care.
you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.